Windows aren't all that can be made with stained glass. Lanterns like these are made from stained glass too. Some of them have designs that are just shapes, and some of them have designs that have a picture of something in them. We're going to make a pretend stained glass lantern using paper. You can design it yourself. I'll show you how to make one. First, you'll need 2 pieces of paper, and you need to put them together, one on top of the other, and fold them in half the long way and crease it really good. Alright, next you're going to take a ruler and you're going to use it to draw a line along the edge, not along the fold. About a 1/2 inch from the edge or so. It doesn't have to be exact, but that'll keep you from going all the way up to the edge when you're doing your cutting. And you're going to make a design with shapes. They can be curved or angled, any kind you want. I'm starting in the middle, and I'm going to work my way out on each side. I'm making a symmetrical design. Now every time I draw one of these shapes, I have to leave room between them. You see how I'm leaving room between that shape and the shape that I'm drawing? And whenever I draw a shape, I repeat it on the other side. That's going to help me get my symmetrical design. But be sure that you leave at least a 1/2 inch between the shapes. And again, it doesn't have to be exactly that. You can probably get a good idea by just looking. And you can use angles or curves or, you know, any kind of thing you want pretty much, as long as you can get it to work for this project. One thing you might want to remember though is that you have to cut these out after you get them drawn. So if you do something that's really complicated, you're going to find that it might make it harder for you to cut things out. Alright, I'm going to put one more shape in there, one on each side. Alright, now see, this is how it is. I've got open end there, and I start from the fold and I cut each shape out, and I have to be really careful, and I'm cutting all of the thicknesses at once. That's why I have the 2 pieces of paper folded together. And this one's pretty complicated shape to cut out. And you're always cutting in from the fold, and you're making sure that there's a space between every 2 shapes. Alright, after I've got all my cutting done, this is what it looks like. I'm unfolding it. And see, I have the 2 pieces like that. And I'm going to glue the ends together. So I'm going to put some dots of glue on the one edge right here. And then I'm going to put the other one on top of it. And I'm going to press it down and try to glue it together straight. Alright, now for the tissue paper. I'm going to start with this little shape on the end here. And I lay my paper on top. See, I can see the shape right through the paper. And I'm going to trace around that shape. And remember to trace on the black paper and not down into the shape, not down into the hole that you've cut out. And then cut it out. It has to be a little bit bigger than the hole. And that's why you have to trace around on the black and not down in the hole. Alright, now take some glue and put glue dots right around the edge, like that, right up close to the edge. And then lay your paper in place and press it down. And that's how you could do all your shapes if you wanted to do each one individually. Alright, you can plan your design so that you have several shapes of one color if you want to do that. And if you decide to do it that way, then you don't really need to do each one individually for the ones that you have next to each other that are the same color. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do these three shapes together. And so I'm tracing around the outside of the shapes. And remember, you got to trace on the black because you want what you cut to be a little bit bigger than the hole. Okay, now I'm going to cut this out. So I'm basically cutting out the pieces for all three of those shapes, cutting them all out together. They won't be separate pieces by the time I'm done. Alright, so here's what I have, and I have to make sure that it covers the shapes that I want, but doesn't overlap the shapes that it's not supposed to be inside of. Okay, so that's how it would fit, and that's one way I could do three shapes at once. But you only want to do that if you want to plan it into your design. And then I have to put my dots of glue around the shapes right up close to the edge and up in here too, around all the shapes, not just around the outside of a couple of them. And remember, dots and close to the edge and not rivers of glue. And then hold it in place and make sure that you line it up to cover all the holes that you want covered and not overlap the holes that you don't want covered. See, and that's what it would look like on that side. Okay, I'll do another single shape again. I'll do this one. And I need to make sure I have enough paper to cover it. And then I trace. Make sure that I'm tracing on the black and not down into the hole. All the way around. And then I cut it out. Now after I do this, I'm not going to show you anymore because I think you've seen enough that you should know how to do it. I'll finish up what I'm doing and then I'll come back and I'll show you the next step to this project. But here's the last one that I'm going to show you. And go right around the edge with dots. And then lay that right in there like that. And press it down. Okay, so you got it? Alright, now it's up to you. Alright, now here it is. I've just finished gluing everything on. This is what it'll look like from the side that we're going to actually see. And now I have to roll it into a cylinder because it's a paper lantern. And so first of all, I put some glue dots on the one edge all the way along. And then I take the other edge. You've made cylinders before. And it's a big one, so I'm probably going to have to hold on to it for a bit to make sure that it sticks. Alright, and now the next thing I need to do is take a strip of paper and glue it on there to make a handle for the lantern. So, just like that. And then I have to do the other side just the same way. See, this is how the handle's going to fit on. And in that way you'd probably be able to like hang it someplace. Alright, so there it is. It's a paper lantern. It's kind of like the Tiffany lamps that we were looking at.